When I first started thinking about doing the vlogs for Scoobie-Dee, one of the things I really wanted to do was have all these amazing different back gardens that we were going to travel to with Scooby and I. Oh, I thought she was going to knock the camera over then, brilliant. And today we've landed a really good one. This one is spectacular. Check this out. How about that for a back garden from Scooby? Behind me is the Valley of Sella, and we were lucky enough to get to know a couple of people that live up here right on top of the hill, have a lovely bungalow, and well, it's just fantastic actually. So this is Scooby's back garden today, but it doesn't just stop there. With this land that these guys bought, Chris and Tony, they also came with 1 kilometre of cliff face, and it has everything from 4+ to 8A climbs. Absolutely amazing. What a find, eh? And we're lucky enough to stay here. So I'm going to be showing you around a bit more around the place, showing you the climbs, and you get to meet Chris and Tony as well. So this is Kristina, owner of this wonderful house up here on the hill in Sella. And first let's say thanks very much for letting us stay here. It's been wonderful. It's been so nice and tranquil. This morning we went out on a 9K walk for 3 hours. She said it was only going to take 2 hours, but it was 3 hours.
It was nice.
And we've been resting this afternoon. But what I wanted to ask you about was your house up here and how it all works, how the supplies work, and just tell us a little bit about your property.
Well, the property in total is about 13 hectares of land. Mm-hmm. The house itself is, I think, 160 square meters, of which 140 square meters are livable, and there's a big water tank in the house as well of 25,000 liters. Then we have a little garage as well where we store everything like what an outdoor company has to store, like bicycles, climbing kit, and everything else.
Fantastic. And how do you get your supplies up here, like electricity, gas, water, and all those things?
Well, water from up there, more or less.
Rainwater.
Rainwater, definitely. We have like a lot of roof space, so we collect from the roof of the house, from the roof of the garage, and as well from the terrace. So But the water which we collect from the terrace is actually for watering plants and cleaning, and all the other 2 tanks, they are the supply for the house.
And the power?
The power, electricity, like we have 4 solar panels on the roof and some fancy lithium-ion batteries.
Oh, nice.
So they are actually quite small, like maybe you know from other solar units where you have like those massive battery packs. Our battery pack is maybe like
And quite expensive,
a
no doubt.
shoebox. It was all right. No, I don't think so.
No, okay. And so what about fresh water? Where do you get that from, drinking water?
Drinking water we get from one of the plenty of springs we have here in the area. There is one just down in the valley where you actually collect your water out of a stream. So you put your canister in it and wait till it's full. Or we go to the villages, like Sella, the village there in the background has a local spring as well. And as well as Finistrat has a spring up on the mountain. So when we need water, drinking water, we always get it from the spring.
Fantastic. And Scoobs is like a steam train here, isn't she? Like
Yeah,
every time
definitely.
you speak, she's like, I think she does it as soon as you start speaking.
Definitely.
Hopefully my microphone is not picking that up.
He might.
And what do you think? You've been up here now for 5 years.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the life up here?
Well, it's normally quite all right, but when we are out every day, it's a quite a long drive. For example, we have our bicycles and one of our vans normally stored in Benidorm, in Finistrat. So we go down to Finistrat and pick up the clients from Benidorm. So that's quite a long way.
And
to
what
do
sort
something.
of temperatures are you looking at, like in the winter and in the summer when you're up here?
Well, in the winter, the nighttime temperatures can drop to 0 to 5 degrees, so it is quite fresh. Daytime temperatures during winter normally between 15 and 20 degrees. However, it can be a little bit colder, or like this January, for example, a little bit warmer. Summer temperatures, well, they can go up into the 40s, and we, as we don't have any aircon, we class in hot summer when we have 2 to 3 weeks nighttime temperatures from 25 to 30 degrees.
Oh, that's hot. International outdoor people, these guys. If you ever come to Benidorm, check out their company, Downhill Biking. What's the name of it?
Well, we have actually 3 companies. I think you spoke to Tony and he told it as well. We have one company who's focusing on walking. That's Costa Blanca Walking Holidays. We do walking holidays as well here in the area. We can tailor it, or we have like the summits of the Costa Blanca and other walks we can offer. For example, as you said, we can walk from here, and now during lockdown we actually discovered so many walks that we can fill a full walking week just from here from the house.
That's one, and the walk
walking
is
kilometers.
wonderful. I mean, really felt like a mountain walk. I would say it was moderate. I'm quite out of shape at the moment from the lockdown, but for me it was moderate. Would you say it was a moderate walk?
Oh, yeah, would class it as a moderate walk.
Well,
yeah.
thank you. You're just about to say easy then, weren't you?
Nah, not easy. Definitely not easy. Yeah, then we have the bike ride company. That's the Downhill Bike Ride, which is a pure tourist attraction and a sightseeing trip suitable for the whole family, and literally to show the people that the Costa Blanca is more than the beaches. And then we have Costa Vertical, and Costa Vertical does everything about climbing. So yeah, we are quite broad what we are doing.
So there you have it. Wonderful. What a lifestyle that Tony and Chris have got here. Living up in an amazing location and making a business out of what they enjoy as well, and giving them a purpose to be here. I think that's fantastic, that.
Yeah, it's quite enjoyable.
It's what we all aspire to do. And if you're lucky enough to get to know these guys, you might get to stay up here like me and Scoobs have, and it's been lovely. I hope to come back.
Yeah, you're always welcome.
Fantastic place you got up here. How long have you been here?
7 years now. 7 years in total. Had the place 8 years, but moved up here 7 years ago.
And where were you living before that?
Fort William.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fort William. You've gone from cold to hot.
Yeah, and but I had views of Ben Nevis when I was in Fort William, so
Yeah.
I've been spoilt for views
Yeah.
all my life.
Do you miss Fort William?
And well, I was working up there, so it wasn't through choice I was there as such. I was working for the military in Glencoe.
And what's the best thing about living here in Sella, in the Valley of Sella, way up high, with virtually no neighbours?
Peace and quiet, and everything on your doorstep. Climbing, walking, scrambling, mountain biking, everything. And the village is only there, it's not far away. And the people down there have been great ever since we got here. Ever since.
This rock behind you that they're climbing on is actually part of your land, I believe.
Yes.
And how far back does that stretch?
As in that way, about another 800 metres to a kilometre.
So that's a pretty... Were you a climber before you came here?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing to have a kilometre of crag.
It also goes another 300-400 metres down that way as well. Down to where the guys are climbing. Just to the right of them, where the rock changes direction, is the start of the land. It's kind of like a teardrop shape. It's pointy down there and it gets wider up that way. And then,
Dream for a lot of climbers.
yeah, it was an accident. The best mistake I ever made, I call it.
Happy accident, yeah?
Yeah, I sat there and opened my mouth at the wrong time, and 3 phone calls later I decided I was buying it. But
That's sometimes the best way, though. You have an hour about things for so long, don't you, with properties and things?
well, I've kind of, since doing it, I've kind of, when everyone asks me about it, I said, you get the place and then you have to make it work. If you're thinking about it and you sit back in the UK waiting for everything to be perfect before you come out, you're probably never going to get here.
You're not going to do it, are you?
Whereas if you just accidentally fall into it,
Will you be retiring here?
well, I suppose that's the only thing. When I get my Zimmer frame, it could be a bit of the...
Talking about retiring, I understand you've started a business up here.
Yeah, so we've got 2 businesses in total. We do a mountain bike excursion for sort of tourists, and we also do guided walking and guided climbing and that side of life as well.
I read somewhere that it was the #1 tourist attraction on TripAdvisor for Benidorm, one of those companies.
It is one of our claim to fame, yes, is the downhill bike ride is #1 and has been for 4 or 5 years now.
Can you just take us through how that works and how many people do you pick up? How does that work, the downhill bike?
Well, so most of our bookings, the majority anyway, are from Benidorm and the coast. And we take a minibus down, and we've got 2 minibuses. We pick up 16 people. We take them round the corner up there, up to the highest point in the Costa Blanca, the Sierra Itana.
How high is that?
It's 1,558 metres. And then we do 3 bike rides through the day. And in between each bike ride, we give them a lift back up the top of the hill as well.
Oh, so they get to do 3 downhill bike rides?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And it is a sightseeing bike ride rather than an extreme bike ride. And by the end of the day, they'll have done 40 kilometres of not a lot of pedalling.
Brilliant. And they get a beer at the end?
They get a beer at the end. They also get to see tigers because there's a safari park up there.
Wow.
So they ride alongside the safari park, and that's where we have lunch at halfway through the day. And
That sounds really good. I thought it would just be one ride and that's it.
no, it's a full day. So sort of 10 o'clock through to about 5 o'clock by the time they get back down to Benidorm. And generally, yeah.
And you supply all the equipment, helmets,
Helmets, bikes, yep, and
transportation,
yeah. So
Can you tell us how much that is?
that is €39.
Bargain.
It might go up after this, but but at the moment it's €39 and has been for a lot of years.
Scoobs absolutely loves it up here. She couldn't believe it when she got out of the van today.
Yeah. Scoobs is more than welcome here.
She seems to go. How's it going? I thought I'd take this opportunity, this relaxed moment and beautiful view, to update you where we are at the moment. So Spain is just coming out of lockdown, and hopefully I will be able to start moving about soon. And I'm planning to go up to do some bouldering in a beautiful old town called Albarracin. So in a couple of weeks' time we're going to start travelling around. But we're still locked down now, but we can get out and do some sports, and things are starting to open up a bit more in Spain. It's been an interesting 11 weeks, as I'm sure it has been for everybody. But now it's starting to open up and I can get out and do some other stuff. That's feeling really good, actually. Feeling really good. Oh, and it's looking like it might be time to shut the doors of the van because the mozzies are starting to come in. Well, if you're going to be up here and you've got this view and you've got no neighbours looking over you except for in Sella, which is about 3 miles away, it's got to be solar shower time, hasn't it? Solar shower time, solar shower time. I should release my own Dee's solar shower. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? A shower with a view. I'm not the view, by the way.